Yeah. Okay. So we are saying that we are looking at organizations, information systems, and their strategy. And our first issue we are discussing here is that there is a relationship between organization and the type of technology an organization adopts. And we are saying that that relationship is influenced by these various items. Let's look at it properly from this diagram. It will make it easier for us to understand the whole thing from this diagram. So we have organization on one side. We have organization on one side, and we have information technology on one side. And we are saying that organization influences the type of information system that is being deployed in an organization. Then also the information system also determine the types of organization that we will have. So how is these factors mediating that relationship? Number one, if an organization wants to adopt information system, so an organization wanting to adapt information technology, it will depend on the type of environment the organization is operating in. So in Ghana here, there are some technologies that can be deployed that will work perfectly. But if you deploy that same technology in certain contexts, that technology will fail. So the type of technology an organization will adopt depends on the type of environment that the organization finds itself. For instance, recently I watched a video on YouTube where in Japan, another part of the world, where they are able to deliver food system through a robotic cart system. Let me see if the internet will permit me to share. Let me share my entire screen and see if the internet will permit me to show you what I'm talking about. So let me go to YouTube and see if I can show you some of these. One of them they call the Uber Eats. They call it Uber Eats. Let me see if that is the one. Uber Eats. Robots. Okay. Good. This is what I'm talking about. Please, I hope you can see. Please, can you see?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So this is a robotic cart, okay, where a restaurant, somebody orders food from a restaurant and they put the food into that robotic cart and they program the location of the recipient and the food. So it's a robotic cart system that they are piloting. Okay. So when the food gets to your place, you open it and you take your food, you close it back, and the robotic cart will drive back to wherever it came from. All right, so this is just a demonstration of an organization information systems. Okay, so that's just a demonstration of organization information system. Now, this particular technology can operate within that particular environment because the people are over there understand the technology. Ghana has if in Ghana here, if you bring such a technology here, where food will have to move through the streets of the country, hey, somebody will capture the food at the car itself. You will not even find the food again. You understand? So organization will deploy a particular technology based on the type of environment that it operates in. Number two, the type of organizational culture, okay? It can be the type of organizational culture or the culture of the people can also determine the type of information systems they should deploy. What do you mean by culture? The way of life of the people. In Ghana here, it took so many years for us to accept this online payment system because there was a perception that if you buy through the online system, somebody will steal your money. Okay, so there are a lot of people who till today still don't trust or believe in the online system because there is a perception that when you buy things online, if you don't take care, your credit card and your credit card details will be stolen. A typical example is my boss. My boss will never do anything that has to do with his information on an online system because he doesn't trust any online kind of a system. You understand? Then the structure of the organization is also very important. Then the type of business processes the organization also operates also determine the type of technology they can deploy. Then we talk about the politics in organization. Do people support opinions, technology? Sometimes you start a particular technology, others don't support it. Others are not in support of that technology. And no matter what you do, that technology will not be able to function as it's expected to function. So the technology is also very, very important. The politics, then the managerial decisions or the management decisions. Do they support the use of information systems in that particular organization? So now the question we want to ask ourselves is, then what after all is an organization? And we can define organization from different perspectives. We can define it from the technical perspective, and we can also define it from the behavioral perspective. So according to the technical definition of organization, they say organization is a formal structure, okay? It's a formal social structure that processes resources from its environment to produce an output. So if you take Baptist University, if you take KNUST, if you take Legon and all those institutions, their main duty is to pick resources from the environment. So the student that we are training to that organization is our resources or our raw materials. So students come in supposedly not knowing anything. We train the person. By the time the person completes his or her university education, whether first degree or master's level, that person becomes a processed item. Okay, so the person becomes a unique, a processed resource that is very useful to the society. So it's a formal social structure that processes resources from the environment to produce an output. We can also define organization as a formal legal entity with internal rules. So you go to every organization and you have their internal rules. Internal rules are the do's and the don'ts that guides the actions of the people that work within that particular organization. So we say it's a formal legal entity with internal rules and procedure. So if you go to every organization, there are different procedures of performing various activities, as well as it's also a social structure. social structure in a sense that somebody always reports to somebody. That is the hierarchy of authority. There is somebody always at the helm of affair where others report to. Then we can also define organization from the behavioral perspective. According to the behavioral science, or those in the social sciences, we call them the behavioral sciences, they also define organization as a collection of rights. So if you go to every organization, individual workers within the organization, everybody has his or her own rights. That is why you hear people say, I know my right, and you can't intimidate me, I know my rights. Yes, because people that meet in the organization, everybody has his own rights. There are privileges, that everybody has his own obligations and responsibilities. And that one comes as a result of your appointment letter. Okay. When you are given an appointment letter, your obligations and responsibilities are clearly stated in your appointment letter. And you see, maybe what I'm tasked to do within the organization might be different from what somebody is also tasked to do. So we are saying that it's a collection of rights and privileges, obligations and responsibility that is delicately balanced over a period of time. It has to be balanced because you cannot intimidate me based on what you have been asked to do. There must be a balance, okay, through conflict and conflict resolution, because your role sometimes conflicts with my role. Definitely, we are going to have some kind of disagreement, but we need to find a way of balancing it so that we can live harmoniously to be able to execute the duties of the organization. So, as we said, an organization picks its resources from the environment, process the resources, and brings out an output to the same environment. So if you look at what we have here, this is the outer portion here. All the outer portion here are the environments. Okay, we call it the business environment. So businesses pick resources from the environment. So if you take something like a fruit juice organization, definitely the orange, the mango, the banana, the pawpaw, and all the fruits that they will need for production, they pick it from the environment. Then they will process the item within the environment, within the organization. And when they finish, they will give it out to the environment again. So after they have produced their orange juice, their wine juice, they will bring it out to the market for the people within the environment to purchase those items. I hope you're with me. So we purchase it, we consume the same item that were produced by this organization. Now, we can also make inference from what happens within our hospital system. It is the same people within the country that are being picked by the, what do you call it, the nursing and midwifery council or the authority. They train them to become the nurses that will take care of us in the hospital. So one danger that we face is that if the organization fails to process the people very well, this is a very dangerous portion, the processing stage. If we don't process them very well and we release them to the environment, they become toxic to the environment. So for instance, nurses that are supposed to operate within a hospital environment where they are supposed to go through some kind of health training, come out to become people that will save lives. If for a reason we don't take them through the actual training, like nurses, doctors, and every field, we can mention them, every field. If we fail to train them the way they are supposed to train, for instance, you come to class, lecture room, and students sometimes will say, this one there, just give me something, let me go. Give me something, let me go. You will give them something, they will go, they will complete the school with nothing in their head. And funny enough, those people who don't also perform in school and come with third class and pass and all those kind of things, funny enough, you go into the industry and those people are the people occupying positions over there because they have their connection that will put them there. So if the organization fails to train the people very well, we will end up producing quack doctors that will end up killing the environment. And if you produce a quack doctor for the environment, they will give us quack hospital treatments. That will, maybe you might not be the one to suffer the brunt of what you have done. Maybe your mother, your father, your sister, your nephew, your auntie, or something will go and suffer at the hands of some of these quack doctors or quack nurses. So based on what the environment, the organization produce, that will determine what the environment will be. And if the environment produces an output and we realize that we will need more processing, we can feed it back into the input stage again and reprocess it. How do you reprocess it? Let's take, for example, a student that has come to university for first degree. You come, you are being trained, and after you being trained, you come out as a degree holder, having a first degree, knowledge, basic knowledge in basic items. Then the person says that no, I need to do my master's. Indirectly, you have been produced for the as an output for the environment. Okay, but if you are not satisfied with who you are and you want to be reprocessed, you come back again to the processing stage where we'll process you to become another output in the form of a master student. If after masters you are still not satisfied and you want to come back to be processed again, you come out as another processed output in the form of a PhD, and on we keep doing that. So there is that kind of a cyclical kind of a loop, okay, where inputs are taken, it's being processed, it becomes an output, and the same output can be re-inputted into the system. We reprocess it again to become another finished good. In the same way, if you go to the business world, there are several products that goes through thousands and hundreds of different types of processing. For instance, cocoa beans, before it becomes a chocolate, it has to undergo a lot of processing before it finally comes out as the processed chocolate that we know, that we all enjoy eating. Please, if you have a question, you can just let me know so that I will help you answer the question. So just like we said, every organization takes item from its environment and process it out as environmental output or something that comes out in the form of an output for the environment. So every organization that will process this input has its own structure, its own hierarchy. There is a division of labor, there are rules and procedures, there are business processes, and every organization has its own culture. In terms of the processes of the organization, every organization, you have people with their rights and their obligations. Everybody has his or her own privileges and responsibilities. We have values and norms and the type of people that work in all these organizations. So this is the behavioral view of organization. So the first one we looked at is a technical view, where items get into the organization, being processed, becomes an output, and we can feed it back to the system. But the behavioral view says organization is a formal organization is a formal structure with division of labor, whatever, everything inside, and it takes item from its environment and goes through the organization processing system, and it comes out in the form of an output for the environment. What are the features of organization? What makes it called an organization? Number one, every organization has a hierarchical structure. A hierarchical structure in the sense that somebody always reports to somebody, okay? And in every organization, there is level of accountability. People becomes accountable for their actions, okay? Then there is authority in system for impartial decision making. There is a level of authority that takes decisions that are not supposed to be partial, okay? People are equally treated based on their contribution towards the organization or their various roles they play. Then there is also adherence to principles of efficiency. Everybody that is given a letter of appointment letter, usually we expect you to write an acceptance letter. And within the acceptance letter, you promise to adhere to the principles of efficiency. That is why people are, when they are writing application letter, they will write in it that I will do my best to uplift the image of this organization. It's a commitment to the principles of efficiency. Because if the organization was useless, you wouldn't have come in the first place. But you have seen something good or something better about the organization, and you think you can also come in and contribute your quota to the development of the organization. Then every organization has its own routines and business processes. Okay. And like we said the other time, every organization has its own politics, the culture of the organization, and the type of environment and the structure of the organization. Politics are the divergent opinions of the people. Culture is a way of life. The environment depends on the type of business that operates and what type of environment you find yourself. Okay. The environment can be the behavior of the people, the acceptance, or it based on how you want to see the environment. Then also the structure, something also, it can also be linked up to the system of authority. Okay. The system of authority within that particular chosen organization. Please, is there any question? Please, is there any question? The class is quiet. Oh.
From you know.
You know.
Yes.
I was asking if there is a question.
No question so far.
Okay. Now, let's talk about routines and business processes. When you go to every organization, there are routines, okay? That is the standard operating procedures. That is what we are known for. That is what we do every day. So we call it a routine, the standard business operating procedures. So what are those routines? They are the precise rules. They are the procedures. They are the practices that have been developed to cope with virtually at all expected situations. So you go to a hospital and you find a doctor. There are rules for a medical doctor to adhere to, and there are procedures every medical doctor takes a patient through if he is supposed to give the patient any medical care. Okay, so there are rules, there are procedures, and there are practices. And those practices have been developed as a standard operating mechanism that every doctor is supposed to go through or use it virtually under all situations. So those becomes a routine itinerary. So a doctor goes to the hospital in the morning. Maybe first of all, the doctor, the first thing he does is that he has to go to the ward and check on all the patients in the ward to see how they are faring in the morning before he comes to the consulting room to see those who are now coming for medical attention. If that is the process, then we are saying that that becomes a routine thing they do virtually every time they come on duty. So whether you report in the morning, afternoon, or evening, once it is your section, maybe they expect that you go to the ward first, go and check on the patient to make sure that your patients are all doing well, they are all healthy, there is no casualty, there is no emergency, everybody is responding to treatment. Before, maybe probably you have to come back to the consulting room to sit down to meet those who are coming for that very day. Then we also have the business procedures, the processes, okay? When we bring various routines together, it becomes a procedure, a process, okay? When you bring various, a collection of routines becomes a business process. So in that case, we can now say that a business firm is a collection of business processes. How do we say that? Let's look at this diagram. So this is a business process. This is a business process. This is a business process. And this is a business process. And in each of the processes, there are routines. So the individual items that you see one in it, okay, it looks like a sausage, but they are being grouped one by one. So this is a process. That is a process. Let me use a different color so that maybe you will catch up with what I'm trying to show you. Okay, so this is a process. Sorry, that's a routine. 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 So a combination of routines becomes a process. And when you bring a whole business processes together, it forms a business firm. Okay, so a collection of routines becomes a process, and a collection of processes become a business firm. So indirectly, we can say that a business firm is a collection of processes. It's a collection of processes. Okay. Like I said earlier, when we talk about the politics in organization, we are referring to the divergent opinion. Okay. People having different mindsets, people having different opinions, okay? People not thinking alike and all those things. So those becomes, what do you call it? The politics. Please, just a second. Okay, sorry, I wanted somebody to join us. There is somebody that when I was teaching this course, she wasn't around, so I want her to join the class. Okay, so when we talk about organizational politics, we are referring to, when we talk about organizational politics, we are talking about a divergent opinion. Divergent opinion such that because we don't think alike, okay, because your mindset and my mindset are different, that is what makes us totally two different people. But you see, the problem with this part of our world is that the fact that I don't think alike, or we don't speak the same language, or we don't think alike, it becomes an avenue for us to fight. But in the advanced societies, I might not like you, but it doesn't stop us from working together. Okay? Because if we are thinking the same way, if we are thinking alike, then there is no need for us to be employed, because what you are thinking is what you are thinking is what I'm thinking. So what becomes the essence of employing two people who are thinking the same way? So it is your opinion, my opinion, that when it comes together, we are able to put them together to have, or to be able to get a perfect system. So divergent opinion. So in Ghana here, the reason why our politics has become a burden on us is that if MPP thinks they have the idea, and if NDC also think they have the idea, in a normal way, all that they are trying to do is that they all want the betterment of the country. So why don't they come together as two different political parties, bring their opinions together, and share it to help build the country? But hey, that will never happen, because it goes beyond just being an idea. It is about who controls the resources and who is able to lay hands on it and chop as much as he wants to chop from the national coffers. So organizational politics is a divergent opinion that leads to the political struggle, the competition, and all the conflicts. So political resistance greatly also hinders organizational change. What it means is that if we are not able to manage the politics very well, okay, if you are not able to manage the politics very well, if we are not able to manage the politics very well, that politics can become a destructive item. For instance, according to the behavioral science or the social science people, they said if conflict if conflict happens in an organization and we are able to manage the conflict very well, it's instead of it becoming a destructive item, it becomes an instrument for development. For instance, if I say I like Auntie Sarah, or when somebody says he loves you or he likes you, sometimes it becomes very difficult for the person to be able to even say something bad about you, or when you do something wrong, it becomes very difficult for the person to be able to chastise you or able to say something bad about you. But the day the two of you will fight, that is when you will hear. That is when you will hear that you have actually offended the person. So the things that the person has harbored inside for so long, the person will pour everything out. Okay, the person will pour everything out. So according to the behavioral sciences or the social science people, they said when there is conflict, people pour out their grievances, and instead of we taking offenses because of the people pouring out their differences, we should rather take it as an avenue of learning or taking clue from those things that the people said. So when people are very angry and they are, for instance, if you are with your wife and your wife is very angry and she's talking anyhow, instead of you being angry, just keep quiet and listen to whatever she said. Maybe there's something she has been harboring inside for a very long time. Maybe you did something against her and she said, oh, I've forgiven you. By the day you have problem, the two of you will have problem. She'll go back into archives and bring all those things out. So if you're a very wise person, what happens is that you just advise yourself that, hey, this thing will never happen again, because they have not forgotten. If anybody tells you that, oh, what you did to me, I've forgotten, forget it. It never happens. I've forgiven you, but I have not forgotten. Because if forgetting something, it only takes the grace of God to do that. So divergent opinion is one of the issues that we deal with. Then every organization has its own culture. Okay, like I said earlier, the culture is the way of life of the people, the way of life, how they do things. Culture is very, very important. So organizational culture will brings about what are the goals, the assumptions. Okay, so culture encompasses a set of assumptions that define the goals of a product. So we are asking ourselves, what type of product should we produce as an organization? What type of product should we produce? How and where should we produce it? Then for whom should we produce those products for? So if culture is properly taken care of, it can be a powerful unifying force. Okay, it can be a unifying force, as well as if we don't also take care of it, it can also be a restraint on our change. So culture can unify people or unite the people. That will help the organization to move on. Or if we don't take care, it will be the same thing that will hinder the organization from moving on. Every organization, like I said, has its own environment. Organizations and its environment has that kind of a reciprocal relationship. What is the relationship? We are saying that organizations are very open to, and it depends, every organization depends on its environment. What type of environment are we talking about here? We are talking about the social environment, that's the structure, and the physical environment, that is the item that we can see with our naked eye. So the university relies on the environment for its inputs. Okay, so the inputs that the university has currently is you, the students, that has come from the environment to be used or to be trained to become a finished product for the environment. And we are saying that organization can influence its environment. So for the example that I was given earlier on concerning training medical personnel, nurses, and other professionals for the country, if we use human faces and say, oh, this is my uncle's son, my daughter, my girlfriend, my wife, my whatever, and we don't take the people through the actual training that they need to become who they are supposed to become in the future, then what happens is that we will produce people for the environment who will not be able to manage the environment as they are expected to manage the environment. So we are saying that if the organization produces fake items for the environment, indirectly it will tend to bite the environment. So we produce food that are poisonous for the environment. As soon as the environment consumes that food, the environment will have an effect on itself. So there is an influence of organization on its environment. So if we don't produce the right student with the right qualification, with the right knowledge skills, or the right knowledge sets to be able to take care of the institutions and the various industries that we have around, then we are heading towards a destructive, or the whole country will be heading towards a ditch. So the environment we know, the world we know now changes very fast. Okay, the environment we have changes very fast. That is why even if you're a lecturer, your slides, you can't be teaching with a slide for more than 2 to 3 years. The reason is that the environment keeps changing every day. Nowadays, when we are talking about technology, we talk about virtualization, like what we are doing now, where people can have access to information and other things, or meetings and others from wherever they find themselves across the world. But some time ago, we will not be talking about this kind of virtualization system, simply because now it has become the order of the day. The environment is changing faster. So should the business or organization also change faster in order to be able to meet up with what the environment demands. So information system can be an instrument of environmental scanning. That is, as the environment is changing, how do we know that the environment is changing? How do we know what the environment is currently demanding that we should be able to produce to meet up the demand of the environment? And that is what we say, that information system can become an instrument, or it can be the eye, the lens through which we can look at the environment to see what the environment requires. So let's see this example. When we were in secondary school, I think we did integrated science, and we did what we call the eyeball. The eyeball. And we labeled the human eye. We talk about the cornea, the retina, the wine, the frontal and wine, all those things that we learned during our secondary school time, which has no bearing. Today, those things, you ask yourself, why did you learn all those things? But hey, at least it makes you know that there's something called the cornea, there's something called the retina, there's something called this, and there's something called that, the eyeball. Now, looking at the item you see on your screen, okay, the round thing that you see, this round thing that you see here. Oh. So the round thing that you see is the human eye. Okay. The round thing that you see is the organization. Sorry, that is the organization. And you see this purple item here. Okay, that is information system. So the information system has become the retina or the eye through which the organization or the firm is able to see its environment. So we are able to see the type of governance system that operates within the environment. Oh, what is happening? Okay, so we are able to see in terms of the environment organization, we are able to see the type of governance system, the type of environmental resources that are available, who are the competitors in the environment, who are the customers, do they have financial institutions that operate within the environment, what is the culture of the environment, what is the knowledge level of the people within the environment, and what is the technology that pertains within the environment. So we are saying that technology or information systems act as a lens through which a firm can see its environment. Let me give you a typical example. If you go to the multinational organization like Apple, Dell, Toshiba, Intel, and all those multinational organizations, mostly they have a page called FAQ, frequently asked question page, okay, where they allow customers to come over there and ask questions based on the kind of products that they have purchased from them. And it becomes an avenue for them to know what's the environment or the opinion of the people within the environment. So they set up people who listen or watches all these comments from the customers or the users so that they are able to respond accordingly. So you ask yourself, how is Apple able to determine what type of features they should bring into their new models of phones? And one of them is to get it from some of these pages. People will come there, people will make demands that, oh, Apple, if you're able to bring this and that into your products, I think it will make it very nice. It will make it very good. So Apple will end up bringing all those features into their products. Then we talk about something we call disruptive technology. Destructive technology. So those of us on this platform that are a little bit older, you remember that some time ago, we used to have a VHS player. We used to have something we call VHS. Let me see if I can show you. We used to call it VHS tapes. So na yo sa na over here we call it piamonko. Okay, we used to call it the piamonko. This type of video deck system. Okay, it was one of the oldest.
It's called Patrikuto.
Okay, so this is the VCR disc, the video cassette recorder disc. Okay, this was what we were using some time ago. Then we got to a point where we started using the DVD player. So we moved from this player and we came to the DVD player or the DVD disc. Okay. Oh, I want those ones that we're using around the DVD player. Let me see if I can DVD player. Okay. Let me look for images. Okay. So I think this is going to remind a lot of you what you used to do some time ago. You go to the guy's room and you see this DVD player. They have this light, blue, red lights scrolling in the, most of the time you go to the guy's room and they don't want to even turn on the lights. It is only the DVD light, the light in front of the DVD that will be showing. And those days, the boys were using it as an avenue of getting the girls. So if I like Auntie Sarah, she will come to my room and she will see a DVD player with the blue light, red, green light roaming in front of the DVD. And Charlie, those days to have a DVD in your room, you are the talk of town. Auntie Sarah, the opposite can be your husband is there, he's listening.
Hey,
Oh, no.
He did that to you.
Are you talking for experience?
Your husband did that to you those days, eh?
Oh, no.
You visited him and you saw some. Was it
there? We on the no long. There be no see.
No see. So you realize that the VHS we used to have, even before the VHS, there was this tape player. I don't know. Let me see. I remember very well when we were kids. Let me see. Tape player. There was this tape player some time ago. Videotape. I don't know. I've forgotten the magnetic tape. They call it magnetic tape. This type of player. When we were kids, they used to bring it to our communities to come and show the Jesus film. If you are not old, you will not see this. Okay, the Indomie generation will not remember. They used to have this type of magnetic tape system connected to a projector. Connected to a projector. They call it magnetic recording tape player with a projector. Let me see. Those days, Jesus movies, no, and your locations, no. It was something like this. It looks something like this. Then the cassette, I hope the internet will permit me. Good. Well, it was something like this. Okay. It was something like this. The Indomie generation people will not appreciate what I'm showing you. But it was some kind of a player system where they used to use it to show videos and other things around. Then all of a sudden, we moved from this very one to the VHS. We moved from VHS to the DVD. We moved from DVD. Now we are with the USB. We came to the USB. No, the USB has not left the system these days, but yet now in this current dispensation, we have what we call the Netflix, the digital platform. So now you don't even need anything. All you need is the internet. It's like this way. The Ohiani will share. The Ohiani internet. Okay. All you need is internet, and you are able to do whatever you want to do on there. You can watch any video of your choice or any video you actually want to watch. So we call it that is how development has gone over the period of time. Now, why am I saying all this, or why am I showing you all these things? I'm showing all these things for you to know where we started and where we have gotten to. The world has gone through a lot of developmental stages before we got here. So anytime a newer technology takes over from an existing one, we call the new technology a disruptive technology. I'm repeating again. Whenever a newer technology takes over from an existing technology, we call the new technology a disruptive technology. Disruptive in the sense that it has come to take over from the existing one in a more improved, in a more refined, and in a more in a more refined, in a more improved, and in a more sophisticated manner. So when we have substitute products that perform as well as better than the existing product, then the newer product becomes what we call a disruptive technology. So those are also technologies that brings a sweeping change to business, industries, and the markets. So when you take the industry or you take the business world, you realize that there are different technologies that are bringing a sweeping change. For instance, Netflix has become a disruptive technology to the CD industry. YouTube has now become a disruptive technology to the print, the copies of CDs and other things. Because now who cares to go to the CD shops or cassette and as a CD? Who cares? I mean, to go to a CD shop that he's going to buy a CD or a cassette. I mean, it is a thing of the past. It's not something we want to think about again. Everybody is thinking about where the world is going to, because the world has transmogrified, if I should borrow that word. The world has changed. It has moved to a different level. So we can't keep still doing things like the way we used to do things in the oldies. So disruptive technology brings a sweeping change to businesses, industries, markets, and a whole lot. Internet is an example of a disruptive technology. Okay, personal computers, our smartphones, the big data analytics system, the artificial intelligence system, and the internet. Now look at what our AI is doing in our world. People have refused to think anymore. Again, they stopped thinking, because why will I worry my head to think when technology can help me think better and even far more deeper than the way I would have done it? Because these technologies have been equipped with, the AI system have been equipped with knowledge that is more intense and more robust. Okay, so they are able to do deeper levels of analysis and other things rather than what the human mind will ever do. So we say the internet is also a disruptive technology. Then in terms of those who bring out a technology, there is something we call the first movers and what we call the fast followers. Who are the first movers and who are the fast followers? Now, I will explain this term with just a simple line of a rap that a musician gave. Okay, I am not a fan of this rap thing, but when somebody says something that makes sense or that is being useful to what I'm doing, I borrow those words. There was this music, I think Kwakese or something, somebody, I don't know if that is the name, Kwakese. He said something, he said, Mona Modebaye, yen hits. You brought it, but we made it a hit. So sometimes there are organizations that are able to bring innovative ideas out. They bring the inventions, they bring the technology, they bring the new items into the system. But maybe sometimes because of lack of resources or lack of publicity or lack of recognition or other things, there are organizations who have those things and are able to pick those things and make it bigger. So we talk about those who bring technology into existence. We call them inventors. Okay, so these are the first movers, are the inventors of disruptive technology. Recently, I think I'm told, I cannot confirm. If you call me anywhere, I don't know how to confirm it, but I'm told that Airtel Tigo brought, Tigo. Those days it was not Airtel Tigo, it's Tigo. They brought this mobile money.
Mobile money.
Yeah, the mobile money system. And before they could enjoy from the labor of the mobile money, MTN has taken it and they have made it bigger than what the Tigo people wanted to do. And you see, the funny thing is that when you bring an innovative technology into the system, if you don't take care, by the time you realize somebody with the muscle, the financial muscle, somebody with the connection and other things will take it and make it bigger than how you would have even done it in the first place. Okay, so we sound a caution to people that before you bring a technology to the system that you want to call it your technology, the best thing to protect your technology is to patent that technology, so that before somebody will want to do similar or want to do the same, the person might need authorization from you. So the first movers are the inventors of the disruptive technology. So they bring it out for people to know that this technology exists. But before you realize, there are people who call them the fast followers. So fast followers are the firms, they have the size, they also have the resources, and they capitalize on the technology that you have brought out, and they make it big. And in most cases, you realize that those first movers of the technologies don't actually enjoy, because they have done the research, they have done the research and the development, and they have done all the basic kind of a thing. Ghana here, we have an organization called Tonaton. There was a company that came around, we call them Tonaton. They were making announcements, they were making noise all over the TV, radio, this, that. Before people could say jack for Tonaton to have their money from all the investment that they have made, an organization called OLX came and took over from Tonaton. Now, OLX is now called Gigi. Okay, I think they've changed the name to Gigi, and they are still in existence today. So those who go to the market or go to the field, do a lot of research and come out with innovative ideas and other things, sometimes the funny thing is that they don't live to enjoy the fruits of their labor. They don't. People takes over from them, and the people enjoy the what do you call it? The fruit of their labor. So we call it the first movers and the fast followers. There are different types of organizations that we have. There are some organizations, we call them the bureaucratic organization, the entrepreneurial organization. We have those we call the machine bureaucracy. We have the divisionalized bureaucracy, the professional, and what we call the adhocracy. Now, let's quickly look at some of these organizations. So the entrepreneurial organizations are usually the entrepreneurial ones, those startups, okay? They are startup organizations, and I mean, usually you don't have a lot of people working in those organizations. Usually between and entrepreneurial organization, or what we usually call them, the SMEs. Sometimes it depends on the type of society you find yourself. According to research, when we talk about SME or some of these organizations, can be organization with people, the number of workers not more than 100. Some are saying not more than 50 and others. So based on the type of research that determines the level of people within the organization, that makes it more acceptable. Then we have the machine bureaucracy, those that are a little bit higher than that of the entrepreneurial organization, where they have incorporated technology and other machineries into their operation. Then we have when it moves to the level we call the divisionalized bureaucracy. So you go to organization where there are functions and divisions of labor, people playing their individual roles based on the functions or the divisions they find themselves in. Then we have the professional bureaucracy where people are categorized based on their profession. So we have the doctors, we have the nurses. So people are classified based on their level of professionalism. So we have the people who belong to the nursing fraternity or the health fraternity. We have those in the law, we have those and all those kind. Then we have the adhocracy system. So information systems often reflects the organization's the organizational structure, okay, the type of structure that exists within the organization. There are other organizational features that we can talk about. The goals. What is the goal of the organization? Are they trying to be cohesive? Are they trying to be utilitarian? Are they trying to be normative, and so on? What is the constituencies of the organization? Where do they operate very well? Then what is the leadership style of the organization? What are the various type of tasks that they perform? And what different environments do they actually operate in? Now let's look at the economic impact of information systems. Now, when we talk about economic impact of information system, what we are trying to say is that IT, one way or the other, changes the cost of capital and the cost of information systems. How do we say that? In economics, economics says that the factors of productions are capital, labor, and I think, please, econs people, help me out. What is the factor of production? Those who have done econs.
Land, capital, labor, entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur.
Yes.
Okay. But in today's world, the factors of production goes beyond just these items. The factor of production in today's world, you cannot downplay or overrule the role of technology in production. Any business that means business cannot operate without the use of technology. So technology is very, 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 very important. Technology is very, very, very important. Okay, so just like other factors of productions like capital and labor, information technology is also in today's world a factor of production. And we are saying that IT affects the cost and the quality of information and changes the economics of information. The reason we are saying this is that in today's world, technology is making it possible for firms, instead of increasing in size, rather to contract in size. Certain activities that we would have allowed people to do for us, we can deploy technology to perform those activities on our behalf without necessarily bringing people to do them for us. Let's take a typical example. Comfort Anoche Teaching Hospital. Okay, Comfort Anoche Teaching Hospital before then had this data office where customers or the people that come for hospital treatment and other things, they will have to go for their what do you call it? They will have to go for
Folder.
their folder, and sometimes it takes like 2 hours for them to locate somebody's folder because their folder na could know. It will take a very long time. Sometimes you go there and the people working in the folder room, no, they are like 10, they are like 20. Okay, because the number of people that come to the hospital, no, if they don't do it like that, I mean, we will not be able to find people's folder. Sometimes somebody came to the hospital 10 years ago or 5 years ago. The person came to the, the hospital 5 years or 10 years ago. And that same person has showed up today for medical care. And you cannot say that you won't take care of the person. You will. So if we are to take care of all these people, then the question is, we will need people to go, because the person came 5 years ago, the folder, maybe the folder, you will need more time to look for the person's folder. And the funny thing is that without the person's folder, the likelihood that we will not know the person's medical history is also very high. So definitely we want to use the person's folder. So always there are a lot of people working in the folder room. But today, instead of the 20 people working in the folder room, you go and one person is working over there in the data room, simply because now we don't need any folder. The system has been digitalized where customers don't need to move around with their folder. Now, I learned the vice president has also implemented a system, a hospital system where all the government hospitals are all hooked up to a single database. So it doesn't matter which hospital you go. Yeah, it doesn't matter which hospital you go. Your information is already available by the time you get there. So that people don't need to be moving around with hospitals and others. So it will get to a time where somebody, people have fainted whilst in a car or got themselves involved in an accident. They were unconscious. They were at the hospital. They don't have any medical history of that person. They don't know if the person is allergic to this or allergic to that. I remember I heard of a story of somebody who was, what do you call it? I heard the person was a pharmacist, okay, and had a food poisoning. So when he went to the hospital, they wanted to inject him with a particular medicine. Because the guy was conscious, he told them that if he injects me with this, I will die, because that injection that you want to give me reacts with the poison that the guy has consumed. So if you give me this injection, I will die. Okay. So the nurses were saying, you are too no, no, please, if you give me this, I will die. So the guy, everybody decided not to attend to him again because they said the guy is too known. So later on, the guy became unconscious and was lying down. So when the doctor came and asked, what do you call it? What have you given to this guy? He said, we wanted to give him this, but the guy was saying this and that and that and that. And the doctor said, you people are crazy. You should listen to what the guy is saying because he's allergic to that. And probably the poison he has consumed, if you give him this injection, he will die. So people will go to a lot of hospitals and they will be given some kind of medication or some kind of injections which they are allergic to, and they end up dying. Nobody takes the responsibility. Okay, so if we have a national kind of a database, by the time I get to the hospital, maybe my fingerprint will be taken and it will bring out all my medical history. So nobody will make that mistake of giving me what I'm allergic to. So organizations are using information system as an avenue of, not instead of increasing the number of workers in the organization, rather they are contracting in size. People leave, and instead of bringing people to help them to bring in new people to work, no, now technology is replacing people. Now we are also saying that the impact of technology on the organization is that it is helping the organization to be able to participate in the market easily. If we say technology is helping organizations to participate in the market easily, what it means is that Mr. Wilson is here and will bear with us that if you know how much it costs to advertise a product on TV, he has companies, maybe he will go to the FM station or you go to the TV. Mr. Wilson, have you done any of that before? Trying to advertise your product on maybe on TV or radio or something?
Yeah.
And how much did you pay for? If you can give us
very, very expensive. Even one time we were trying to sell one of the properties. The one day for breaking news to just talk about it with 7,000 cedis for just about 30 minutes, 30 seconds breaking news to just talk about the property that we were trying to sell. You're thinking about for just about 30 seconds. And they said breaking news it's very, very crucial to them to advertise your product. So if that is what we want, we're taking about 7,000.
And was it a radio or a TV?
Radio.
Would you care to mention the name of the FM station?
Yeah, that is why we did Star FM, that for Bulare station or something like that.
All right. So you see,
now,
if you
go FM,
I was going to add that, for instance, you know, TV3, for instance, their peak hour is the 7 p.m. news. Okay.
Yeah.
7 p.m. news, that's their peak time. So if you are to go and ask those companies that do advert on TV3 news, you will truly understand that they are really sweating, because it's not easy to participate in the market. So if you're a startup, okay, and they are asking you to pay 7,000 Ghana cedi for a 30 seconds advertisement, then you understand. But we are saying that the cost of participating in the market has become very cheap in this day and era, because now, when they are asking you to pay 7,000 cedis to do a 30-minute advertisement on the traditional media site, social media makes it free. So you go on social media, you take a pictures of the item that you want to advertise it, just put it out there. Sometimes even if you want to even boost it, like Facebook, if you want to boost your advertisement on Facebook, it's like you can pay $5, $10, and you are free to go, which is cheaper. And people will end up getting, you know, when you are watching a video on YouTube or you're watching a video on Facebook and all those things, and it pauses for some 5 seconds for an advert to pass through, they have taken money from those companies, and that's why they're able to push those adverts through their videos for you to be watching those adverts. But the amount they pay for pushing those small adverts is very cheap as compared to using the traditional media houses. So we are saying that in terms of technology, it has a higher economic impact, whereby we say it helps firms to be able to participate in the market in a very affordable manner. In a very affordable manner. Then there is another thing we talk about, that is what we call the transaction cost theory. Any questions so far? Please, any questions so far?
So far, no.
Okay. So, what is the transaction cost theory? The transaction cost theory also says that firms are trying to economize on their transaction costs. If we say economize on transaction costs, what we are trying to say is that firms are trying to reduce the amount of money they pay in terms of participating in the market. Okay, so firms seem to economize on their transaction for the cost of participating in the market. So there's what we call vertical integration, that is being able to link up with other firms. Okay, so they do a lot of, instead of hiring more employees or buying more supplies and others, they don't do that. IT lowers the market transaction costs, making it worthwhile for firms to transact with other firms rather than grow the number of employees. So instead of adding more employees, they rather link up. Okay, they use technology. Now we can use, last week, I remember the last time we met, we talked about what we call the supply chain, management system. Okay, we talked about the supply chain management system, where firms are able to link themselves up in order to be able to share a lot of items together. So we call the supply chain management system. So instead of hiring more employees and bringing in more items to the organization, they don't do that. They rather link up with other organizations so that they will be able to cut down their costs. So IT lowers the market transaction cost, making it worthwhile for firms to transact with other firms rather than grow the number of employees. So technology enables firms to link themselves up instead of and work with other organizations rather than trying to always hiring more people to work within the organization. Then the next thing we talk about is the agency cost theory. Sorry, the agency theory. The agency theory is also saying that as a firm grows, okay, the number of workers or people that need supervision or monitoring also grows. For instance, if I have a business and I have only 5 people working in that business, it becomes very easy for me to manage the 5 people. But whilst the business grows, maybe it grows from being 5 to, let's say, 10, 20, 50, 100, 200, 500. As soon as the number begins to grow, you realize that the cost of managing the people is very high. That is why when a firm becomes bigger, we need to hire more managers. So we have the operational managers, the middle level managers, we have the tactical managers and all other levels of management to help the organization to be able to take care of the organization. But IT, and the more we hire people, the more we pay more, because if you hire more people to help you manage the organization, you need to spend more in order to be able to manage the firm. But we are saying that firm is a nexus of contracts among self-interested people, like we said earlier. It is people with contracts among themselves. Firms experiences agency cost, that is the cost of managing and supervising. It rises as the firm also grows. So IT enables us to reduce the costs, making it possible to grow without adding to the cost of supervising. So for example, Mr. Wilson has a company, a lot of people working in the company. These people are people who will work only when Mr. Wilson is around. As soon as they see him around, they are ready to work. But as soon as Mr. Wilson leaves the premises, everybody wants to do his or her own thing. That is a typical Ghanaian or black man organization for you. They only work when managers are around, and they begin to play dilly-dally when management are not around. Wow, my light just went off. Anyway, let's see where we'll get to that. The internet will not permit me to go ahead. Okay, let's see how it goes, because my light just went off. So we are saying that a firm, as like I was using Mr. Wilson as an example. So maybe Mr. Wilson having a company, he will have the people working when he's around. As soon as he leaves the premises, people begin to relax. If not, maybe having good management people that will take care of the business when he's out, nobody will want to work. So how will technology help him to be able to manage this issue? Okay, so we are saying that one way that technology can help Mr. Wilson to manage this situation is that maybe he can just put, a CCTV camera in the office where he can monitor it everywhere. Sometimes he will not even be watching the video, but a typical black man, the fact that his boss is watching him, he will do the right thing. The fact that his boss is watching him, he will do the right thing. Or the fact that he has the notion that somebody is watching him, he will do the right thing. Another thing is about this, the fingerprints biometric attendance login system. Okay, people, if you give them the book to sign, somebody will come at 12 and come and sign that I came at 7:30. Okay, but when we have this biometric system, you come 12 and you swipe your fingerprint, the system will not lie. It will tell the truth. So agency costs, how technology is helping organization. So you go to some organization without technology and you say that you be on my own check your mom late some mom bantem. Na manager jai na dwuma nyina ba begina no pe ba behwe omom bedman opantem ane omom bantem. Na the actual thing he's supposed to do inside is not able to do it because he has to be there monitoring who is working and who is not working. So all these things can be taken care of through the use of technology. Then we are saying that organizations and behavioral impact. We are saying that a typical organization, let's look at the diagram on the next slide, this one. A typical organization has a tall hierarchical structure, okay? A tall hierarchical structure in the sense that before information will leave the people up here and get to the people down here, there has been a lot of distortion of the information. But in today's world, IT has flattened the level of authority. So I don't know if it was Mr. Wilson who was giving us the example the last time that now they have a software system where if somebody is going for leave and he enters into the system, it goes everywhere and everybody sees it. The management, if they want to communicate to the people, they just send it through the system and everybody will see it. It doesn't need to go through various management for the information to be watered down. So now we don't need a tall level of hierarchy of authority anymore. It's just a simple a managerial system and we can be able to manage the entire organization. Please, I hope we are catching up. Okay. So IT has flattened. So in the post-industrial society, decision is pushed to the lower levels, okay? Fewer managers are needed when we are using technology, okay? Fewer managers are needed because IT enables faster decision-making and decision across different levels of organization. And in the post-industrial society, organization flatten because in this post-industrial society, we rely on what people can do, okay? Authority increases relies on the knowledge of the people and the competence of the people rather than their formal position. So it's not about this person holds this position and this person holds that position. It's about what you can do. Then we move to what we call the understanding organizational resistance to change. Whenever technology is being introduced, definitely there are people who resist the technology, okay? There are people who will resist the technology. So information system has gotten itself bounded in the organizational politics. And I always cite example of a technology that was brought in during President Kufuor's time, where they brought in a machine scanning system at the harbor, Tema Harbor, okay? So that system was supposed to be that when somebody brings in a container to the harbor, you know, previously what they used to do is that they will open your container, check the the content of the container and charge you the duty and other things. But this case, it now became a different thing altogether. When the container comes, instead of them opening it, they will just pass it through the scanner and the scanner will review the content of the container. So nobody needs to open your container to see what is in it. When they installed the system, the white one that installed the system went back after he has installed it, went back. The day he arrived in Germany, they called him to come back because there was a problem. When he came, he opened the control board and he realized that somebody has poured salt into the control board just to destroy it. Because that technology was supposed to check against illegalities. You know, somebody has opened a warehouse, a shop in town where he sells TV and other electronic components. And he asks the person where he gets his products from. It's when people bring their container, they force them, if you don't give me this, I won't sign. If you don't give me that, I won't sign. And they'll take all those things and send it to their shop and go and sell. So if you bring technology that will prevent him from opening the container, then indirectly you are going to take away his to him his daily bread, which he will not agree. So we are saying that technology has become bounded up in organizational politics. Now that the vice president has introduced this tap and go system, where people who use MetroMass services don't need to what do you call it, pay money to anybody. It's just a card, you load your money on it and go and swipe, and the money goes directly to the government. Now, the mates or the bus conductors who were doing the illegalities of having their own, what do you call it, having their own ticket system that they were selling alongside the one the government was giving them, do you think they will sit quietly? They will resist it. But machine and what will you say? Machine na enye adwuma enti no ye gigi iska no all the things so my passenger no so for car ni free, the machine is not working, it ye gigi iska no ene de buy wo buy anything. So whenever technology is being introduced, it influences or it gives out key access to a lot of resources, information, and because of that it changes organizational structure, the culture, the politics, and the way they work. And because of that, every time technology is being introduced, it's always gets itself caught up in the politics of the organization. So there are 4 factors: the nature of innovation that the technology is bringing, the structure of the organization, the culture of the organization, and the facts that will be affected by that particular innovation. Those things are the things that will make them resist the technology or the change. And we are saying that I want to end up at a point, okay? I'm not sure we'll be able to finish the whole thing. When I get to, I think the next slide will be my last slide for today, because it's getting too late into the night. Then probably we can continue maybe any day within the week when we have time. We can, maybe if we are available tomorrow, can we meet tomorrow? Tomorrow is Thursday, yeah. Can we meet tomorrow evening?
Yes, please.
Okay, tomorrow is Thursday, is usually one of my busy days. Let me see if I'm able to get home early. Probably we can continue and finish up tomorrow. So let me just finish these 2 slides and call it a day for today. So the internet and organization, we are saying that the internet has increased, or the internet increases the accessibility, the storage and distribution of information and knowledge for organizations. Now, businesses are able to generate a lot of data, and they're able to store a lot of data. Now, look at it. For instance, if you need like a 3 terabyte space on Google server, it's very cheap. I think some few dollars, and you have it for the whole year. And the beauty of it is that information that you store in your Google Cloud account or your iCloud account or whatever, it can be accessed everywhere. It can be accessed everywhere across the world. Instead of keeping items on your system or on your computer that you can just easily lose it tomorrow. Organizations, because of the internet, they're able to, so like I know some organizations that connect their database system to some of these online database systems, okay, where informations that they generate every day are stored on a cloud system. So even if there is a fire outbreak or there is anything, they just fall on their what do you call it, their backup system, okay, to get the items back. So the internet can greatly lower transaction and agency costs. And I know by now you understand what is called transaction costs, okay, the cost of participating in the market. And agency cost is the cost of managing the people within the firm. So large firm delivers their internal manuals to employees through corporate websites. An example is KNUST some time ago used to, let me show you something here in my KNUST accounts, okay? Let me show you something in my KNUST account, apps.knust. let me log into something on KNUST system. I don't know if the internet will permit me to do that. Previously, when you gain admission to come to KNUST, okay, over all the things they will give you, one of the things they will give you is what we call the student manual. Okay, they will give you the student manual. I don't know why the internet is I'm not able to access the KNUST app site. I'm sure probably there's something wrong from their end because my internet is not that bad. I should be able to. But yesterday, I was able to access it. Okay, so let me see if I can access the apps. They call it. I just want to show you something here. It's still within the app, so it might not be able to. Okay, so okay, so let me go to let me log in with my PhD student account and show you something. There's something I want you to just see. Okay, so let me see. Okay, good. So now, at first, they would have printed, make it a booklet form called the student guide or the student manual. Okay, they would have printed this document and given it to every student. This is about 200 and something pages document. Okay, the university would have printed this booklet and given it to every student when you come to school. But now they don't print it anymore. They just put it on the student. If you log into any of your students' accounts, if you log into your student account, you have access to the document called the student guide. And something that was 227 pages. And they update it from time to time. So it means the ones that was available some 2 years ago might be obsolete. The information in it, some of them might be obsolete. So if they make any update, there's a matter of just going to delete this one and put the new one there. Okay. So what we are saying is that IT, large firm delivers internal manuals to employees through the corporate website, saving millions of dollars in distribution costs, the printing, and how to distribute it. Okay. So the internet is helping our organization to do that. Yes, who is saying something? I thought somebody was saying something. Okay, so let's look at the last thing for this evening, and we'll call it an evening. So what is the implication for design and understanding of the base system? Organization factors in plan a new system. Whenever an organization wants to plan any new information system, number one, they have to look at the type of environment they are dealing with. What is the structure of the organization itself? Then also, what is the culture? Okay, in terms of the structure, we are looking at the hierarchy, the specialization, the routine, the business process, and all those things. Then what is the culture and the politics within that particular organization? Then what are the types of organization and the style of leadership that we have? Then who are the main interest group, people that will be affected by the system? You see, when you are introducing any new system, there are people who will be affected. And you can't just say to hell with everybody. If the system will not help certain people, they'll fight it. So who are the main interest group, the people that will be affected by the new system? Then what are the tasks? What are the decisions? What are the business processes that the system will help or will assist the organization to be able to do? So when you are designing or developing any new information system, these are the items you must understand it before you think of doing that particular activity. Okay, so maybe this brings us to the end of today's class. If there is any question, I'll be glad to answer.
No question from me.
Okay, I assume the rest too, whilst the room is quiet like that. Auntie Sarah. Auntie Sarah.
Yes, sir.
Nabuza BA.
No question.
All right, greetings to the kids and everybody. And
Okay.
thank you for your time. And I hope we'll have enough time to